Hey there, Aurelia here from withhisgifts.com. Welcome and thank you so much for stopping by. Today I have another video tutorial for you and we are going to create this gorgeous card. So let's go ahead and get started. The stamp set that I'm using today is the First Frost stamp set, along with the coordinating framelits, the Frosted Bouquet framelits dies. We will also be using the Stitched Labels framelits dies and the Stitched Shapes framelits dies and the Leaf Punch. The ink colors that I'm using today are Grapefruit Grove and Pear Pizzazz. We'll also be using the clear embossing powder. For my paper, I have my card base here in the Whisper White Thick, and that is cut at 11 by 4 1/4 and scored at 5 1/2. My first layer is Sahara Sand. That is cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. My second layer is another piece of the Whisper White Thick, cut at 5 by 3 3/4 inches. And my third and final layer is a piece of the vellum cardstock that is cut at 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 inches. Then I have some scrap pieces. I have a big piece of scrap Whisper White Thick. I have a smaller piece of the vellum scrap piece, and then a small piece of the sparkle glimmer paper, just a scrap piece. Some of the other things that we'll need today are our multi-purpose liquid glue, snail adhesive, Stampin' dimensionals, paper snips, bone folder. I will be using my Big Shot die brush. I have some pearl basic jewels, and then I have some 1 3/4 inch foam tape that I'll be using today. Let's go ahead and get started with our stamping. And I did forget to mention that we will be using some cotton swabs. So there, I mentioned it. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with this flower here. I have it mounted already. And I just need one. And I am going to ink it up in the Grapefruit Grove. Right up here. Like so. Alright. Then the next one that I am going to stamp is this image here. I also have that ready. And for that, I'm going to grab my cotton swab. And I'm going to dip the tip of one end of the swab into my Pear Pizzazz. And then I am going to pat on my stem to apply the color. Okay? And then I'm going to grab my other swab and dip it into my Grapefruit Grove. And then I'm going to do the top of the image in the Grapefruit Grove. Now you can dip your, or here, let me show you. You can tap your stamp onto your ink pad, strategically placing it where you want the color to end. On both of those, you can also use your markers. I'm using cotton swabs. The cotton swab does add a little softer effect, I find. So I do like to use those. As I did here. Okay? That was a little bit too light. So let's try that again. The joys of filming on video and blinded by lights coming in every direction. But we'll get it. No worries. Okay, so I applied my color with my cotton swab to the top of my image in the Grapefruit Grove, and then again on the bottom with my Pear Pizzazz. So I'm stamping that. That's much better. I need one more of these, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there is the second one of those that I need. All right, so next image is this one here. We are also going to use our cotton swabs. So I will be inking the leaves and my stem in the Pear Pizzazz, and then these little bunches in the Grapefruit Grove. So I will do that. Grab my cotton swab, and I just need one of these. Okay, and again, like I said, this gives it a little extra texture than just using your markers. One that I find quite appealing and gorgeous. I'm always looking for ways to add texture to my projects because texture is yummy and delicious. Alright, so now I'm doing the little buds, I believe you call these. Okay, and then I will be ready to stamp this gorgeous image onto my paper. Okay, so there we go. That was a little bit on the light side as well. What I'm going to do is take a very close look at my stamp before I put it down. Because really, I can't see this ink color in particular. It's kind of the same color almost as my stamp. Oopsie. So then, like I said, we will get it. It's one of the joys of filming in the bright lights. Alright, okay, let me see. Okay, that looks to have color on it, so let's try that one more time. And hopefully I'm still going to have enough scrap paper for what I need. If not, there's plenty behind me. Okay, so that is much better. The next and final image that we're going to stamp is this long leaf cluster here. And I'm going to stamp that in my Pear Pizzazz. So I have my ink here. And I am loading up my stamp. And I am going to come over to this edge here. Just like that. Alright, so we are done with our ink. We're going to get that out of the way. And then the next thing that we are going to do is our big shot work. Okay, so I do have one more stamp that I need to stamp, and that is our sentiment, the wishing you all the best. Almost forgot about that. It's kind of important. I am going to stamp that in my Pear Pizzazz, and then I'm going to heat emboss it using the clear embossing powder. So let's get it all ready. And then I'm going to cut it out using one of the stitched circle dies. So I need to make sure when placing it that I have plenty of room to cut around it. And I think that should be good right there. All right. Okay. That kind of smushed on me. The paper is so far away from my eyes, that is. Alright, so I am going to, you know what, I've given up trying to preserve this paper. There is plenty behind me, and that's what we're going to do. Alright, so there that is. Much better. Let's grab my clear embossing powder, and let's get that all covered. You can emboss in any of the ink colors if you're fast enough. It's not quite the same effect as full-blown embossing powder, but the ink stays wet enough if you are quick enough to grab on to some of the powder. So Like I said, not Versamark, but definitely will hold on to some powder and give you an effect. So let's go ahead and heat this. Okay, there we go. Now we are ready for the big shot. So I have here my magnetic platform. I will be cutting some intricate dies, so I'm going to go ahead and place my precision base plate right on top. Here is the stamping that we did, and then let's go get our dies. So I have the Frosted Bouquet Framelits dies, okay, and the ones that I need are this one here that's going to cut out this bigger flower. I have this one here. There's two of those, which is lovely. I love when Stampin' Up! Does that. They give us two of the smaller dies, because that is lovely. It saves time. Okay, so next one is this one here, and that is going to go over this one here. All right, and then the long little thingy here will go over that, and that's what we'll be using with regards to the Frosted Bouquet Framelits dies. From the stitched shapes, I want the second one from the inside, that size, and that's going to cut our sentiment. And again, these will be lined up precisely when I get to my big shot, and they will be cut out precisely. The final thing that we need to cut out, well, no, it's not the final. It's one of the final. Okay, I may have to grab some more paper, but I'm going to cut two of these out. All right. And then I lied. I always do that. Well, it's not so much lying as it is forgetting. But I do need the Frosted Framelits dies. And we will need to actually go through and do more than one pass, because I need to grab my glimmer and this one here. We're going to cut two of these out, okay? And then that should do it. That should do it. The scrap vellum will take care of that right now, because that is our leaf punch. And I am going to punch a couple of those. Okay, so there's that. We're going to set these aside. Then I'm going to head on over to my big shot, and then I will be right back. Okay, so there are our lovely pieces back from the big shot, and we're going to go ahead and assemble us a card. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my card base. Let me slide those over. Let's go ahead and fold it. And use my bone folder to lay it flat. This is thick, and I could use a little help doing that. All right, so we're going to grab my Sahara sand layer. I am going to go ahead and do the perimeter of my layer in snail, and then I'm going to adhere it to the front of my card. And then you know what? I'm just a big fat liar face today. We do have more stamping to do, but it will only take a second. So as soon as I'm done here, we will get that done, because the next layer has stamping on it. So here's the layer of the Whisper White, okay? And for that, we just need the one stamp right here, and then both our ink pads and our cotton swabs. So quickly already, let's get that ready. Okay, we're just gonna create some designer series paper. Not as great as the designers at Stampin' Up, but it is what it is, right? It's gorgeous. Okay, I have a cough coming up, so excuse me while I get a drink of water. Okay, all better. So, just like we did before, for this beautiful flower, which is this one here, I am going to dab the Pear Pizzazz onto my leaves and stem with a cotton swab. And then, come on, Tickle. You may leave now. Okay, so the buds are in the Grapefruit Grove. There we go. Okay. And I used a scrap piece of paper because I don't want the full strength on here. So just barely tap it off onto a scrap piece of paper, and then I came into this corner here, and again, there is no rhyme or reason to my design. I just wanted some color on this layer rather than a white layer. So again, no rhyme or reason to it, and it doesn't even need to be perfect. So I went one in each corner like so. Okay, and okay, there will be a piece of vellum over this layer which will mute it some. So again, perfection is not required. So then what I did was turn it the horizontal way, and I came in from each of the corners that way. This is how I started to fill my paper. So I flipped it to the next corner, still in the horizontal. Okay, and moving quickly. Okay, all right, so there we go. And then this part here is going to be covered for the most part. So, okay. So it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't need to be covered, but we're going to get some of these parts here filled in because those will show through, and we just want some color there. All right, so what I did was kind of randomly fill in that spot like so. So do you see what I'm doing? Just filling it in. No rhyme or reason. When a stamp is this beautiful, it doesn't need any of our help to make paper look gorgeous. Trust me. Just put some color on it and stamp away, and you will have a gorgeous, gorgeous paper. All right, let's do the same thing on this side here, and then we should be good to go. Oops, almost dropped that. I'm going to fill that in right there. And maybe a little bit over here. There we go. So that's what I have. That was a major step that I almost forgot. Thank goodness that I did not forget it, right? Okay. Now, for this piece here, we are going to mount that. I'm going to use my foam tape. You could use dimensionals if you want. I really don't want to peel back a million backings, but dimensionals will work though. They will. Come on. So I'm just using 3 strips of foam tape here, and again, this is 1 1/4 inch tape, or 3/4 inches. I don't know. I can't remember. I will put the, well, I think I mentioned the accurate dimension earlier, but anyways, I will put that dimension down below. Okay, so there's that with our foam tape on. I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off of my strips, like so. All right, and then we're going to mount that up onto the top of my, or the front of my card. Just like that. Gorgeous. Alrighty. Then our vellum layer. Okay. Just note where this is going to come across. This is kind of, it's a little bit centered, but more close to the top a little bit. So just make sure that when you adhere the vellum, that is where your adhesive is going. So right in this area here, I am going to put some snail. Like so. And then we will strategically hide it behind our cluster that is going on top here. Alrighty, so the next thing that we want to do is to marry these. Now, I can't take credit for this. I saw several videos and Pinterest postings with putting two of these together and marrying them like this, and you have yourself a doily. I was like, oh, wow. Thank you. I mean, because, you know, Stampin' Up! Took our doilies. And if you know me, you know I love doilies. I do, and I even hoarded some. But I won't use them in my projects because I am not a tease. And I don't want to show you what you can't buy. So this you can. And this makes actually quite a beautiful, beautiful doily. So you kind of center it so that you get a round little faux doily. Just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? That is gorgeous. And then that is going to go here. I smudged it, so we're going to put that on that side because that will be covered. I am going to, I think I put this, no, I used a snail. I was going to say I think I put glue on there, but I don't think I put glue on the vellum. So I am just putting a generous amount of snail because I'm OCD like that. And I want to make sure that this doesn't fall off. All right. So we're going to center that right about there. Okay. Press it down. And there is the beginning of our card. All right. So next thing we want to do is grab these little shiny, little shimmery buds. And we are going to place them first, like so. And I'm using liquid glue. Okay. I'm going to put some glue onto my stem. And I'm going to come up about halfway, right at the bottom of this cluster here. And then I'm going to come down, press that down. Okay. Do the same thing with this one. Okay, so I lifted my camera up a little bit higher from my craft table here. So I keep looking to make sure I'm in frame. And I hope that the glare that I had for part of my last video is gone. Okay, so the next thing that I did was my sentiment here, okay? Grab you some, where are mine? Here they are, some dimensionals, and flip that over and put some dimensionals onto the back of your sentiment, like so. Peel the backings, like so. Okay, and then we're going to center that onto our doily here. Like so. All right. Next, let's go ahead and grab these beauties here. We're going to put a little bit of glue onto the bottom front of one of the stems. And then we are going to just put these together like that. Okay? So just like that. And then we will put a little Stampin' Dimensional on the back of that. Reinforced to join and give it some lift when we put it on the front of our card. Okay? And this is going to go right, it's going to overlap onto our sentiment, and then the dimensional that we just placed will push into right on the side there, just like that. And then what we're going to do is put another dimensional onto the back of this gorgeous flower. Just one on this side, so when it's face up, it's on the left side. Because we're going to put a tiny bit of glue on the other side, just a tiny, just like that. Then we're going to cover some of these stems, not all. Going to come down right there. So that's what we have so far, just like that. All right. This thing here, this long sprig, I kind of cut it right about there. And then I cut this. This looks like an arrow to me. I didn't want it to be an arrow, so I took that out. And then what we did was put some glue behind on the bottom, and I tucked this in right behind these flowers here. Let's see, come on, like that. All right, and then cutting this even more like this. Oopsie. Some glue. So just placing your flowers and stuff on the front of your card. Now you will spend some time doing this before glue even makes an appearance. Trust me. The small little piece here that I have left over, I'm going to tuck on the side here, like so. Okay? And I actually needed glue on the other side, but never mind. It's on the back of this. But anyways, what I was saying, when you're making a card that has a cluster of flowers, or just a cluster of anything really on the front of your card, you will have played with this before glue makes an appearance. Trust me, because you will want to have gotten your placement accurate. You want it to look its best, and you'll play with it, take pictures, and then the glue will come in when you're ready to commit. So I have my vellum leaf here. My vellum leaf, I put a little bit of glue onto the stem, and that's on the back, so it's going to meet my card front like that. And that's very subtle, but you can see that. It's gorgeous. In real life, you can see it very well. Here's my other one. I have some glue. Then we're going to tuck that. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to tuck that down here. Okay? Like so. And we are almost there. We have the other side here. And for this side, I had originally had this like here. I thought that looked really cute until I put my sentiment on there. And then I'm like, okay, that's covering up too much of my sentiment. So we performed some surgery. Okay? So let me show you what I did. I separated the leaves. Okay, so here's one leaf. And then this leaf. So I have this and this. I separated the leaves just like that. And then what I did was I separated this piece, these two pieces, right around there. Okay, so then I had 4. Then there were 4. Okay, And what I did was, I took this piece, and let me make sure I didn't snip any more. Just want to make sure that that is what I did. These go there, let's go, yeah, okay. So what I did was, I put some glue behind, okay, and then I tuck this in right about there, okay. Just like so. Then these leaves, the two, flip it over, put some glue there. And again, don't be afraid to cut away at your die cuts. If they are not working for the space that you have, cut them. If you mess up, hey, you have more paper, right? You have more ink. You just re-stamp them and start over. But that's the beauty of creating. Just never be afraid to try different things and cut things up. Cutting is fun. All right, so there's that. And then this last piece that I had here, I'm going to snip this piece away. What I did was tucked it in behind this piece here. So I'm just filling up this space a little bit, okay? This space is gorgeous. It's full. This side was not so full, so I was just looking to balance it out. And I think I did that well. We just have one final thing to do here, and then we are done. This card is gorgeous, and it's simple, and it's quick. I mean, even the Big Shot stuff is quick because, you know, Big Shot gives you, Stampin' Up! Gives you multiple dies to do your job with. So, all right, so these are the pearls that come with Stampin' Up! And you get 3 sizes, and I am going to use the medium size. I love pearls, but they don't love me. So I am going to put 3 down in the corner, like so. And I'm not going to let you watch me because it's never pretty when I put pearls down on a card. So I will be back. And there you have it. Super duper easy, super duper quick, and super duper elegant. So make sure you jot down the supply list down below, then head on over to my online store at withthisgifts.stampinup.net and place your order today so you can make these gorgeous cards at home. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. Head on over to my website at withthisgifts.com. Check out what I'm all about. Hit me up with any questions. I will be happy to assist you in any way that I can. And that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, please leave me a comment down below. Like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you and have a great day.